Welcome to the OtherWorldsGG Community Cast. This is episode number 41. I am Table for Two, and I am joined as always, well, not as always, but as usual, most of the time, Mellified and Alien Pickle. How you guys doing today?
They mostly come out at night. Mostly.
That's true. We're going to do this episode's a follow-up. This is going to be a part 2 to our first one, where we're going to cover more news from the last 5 weeks that tickled our fancy that we thought we'd like to talk about. And I'd love to go into the hey, how are yous, but we literally just did that. So
Literally.
literally. AMD's Radeon vulnerability haul shows why you should always update your GPU drivers. Now, see, I could say a thing or two about updating GPU drivers, but in this case,
you've had a bad run, admittedly, lately. But
so it's literally the worst experience. Well, what's goofy to me is you have these new games that come out and they want the latest and greatest driver, and they tell you that before you launch them. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm okay. I got the driver from July. We're here in October. It's okay, game. Calm down. And it's just like, no, you need to update this shit. And it's just like, well,
yeah.
I thought I had immunity, so I'm sorry.
Can you explain what it is? Oh, this driver version is optimized for new game that just came out yesterday, right? So,
yes.
why does the game require a manufacturer to update the drivers to make the game better?
It doesn't require it, but what AMD does a little bit and NVIDIA does a lot is they put in game-specific hacks. So they look for the executable name and they load up a bunch of hacks where they'll say, okay, this game doesn't use this feature, so we're going to turn it off. Or it only does this, so we're going to tweak the way the driver behaves just for that game. And they have a whole team of people whose job it is to work with the developers on early builds of the game to, tweak the engine.
And then if I run GeForce Experience, it detects the game and retweaks it again, right?
Well, and that's just your quality settings, right?
But also, if you have GeForce Experience set to do that, you can turn that off.
Well, I mean, I don't mind if it optimizes the thing and actually makes it better.
Well, better according to who, though? That's the thing. So
I wish that there was a way. You know how, in GeForce settings,
because to them, better could be motion blur on, Jim.
Well, strangely, what I was about to say is, you know how you go into the 3D settings and you say, okay, I want anisotropic filtering at 16. Don't let the game decide, right? I just want motion blur off. Don't let the game decide. And then I never have to go into the options ever again.
That's correct. Yeah. I wish that was a thing. I agree with you. So NVIDIA's new tech uses AI to automatically match voice lines to animated faces. Was this really that big of an issue, or did I miss something?
Yes. It is a freaking huge issue, right? If you remember whenever they were making crap, I can't think of the name of the game.
I just think of those
double damage made. No, it's the space thing, right? They made the second game, and I can't think of what the hell the name of it was, right? It was Eric. It was Eric Schaefer and Travis Waldry, I think his name was.
Oh, so are you saying that this is to match the mouth shape of the words being spoken?
Right, because they were talking about how much of a pain in the ass it was when they took all the voice, or Travis Baldry, that's the guy. I just, for some reason, I cannot remember the name of the freaking game. It's killing me. But anyway, when they were developing the thing and we had them on the other show, then they were talking about how much of a drain it was on development, because they had to go in and manually map all the voice lines to lip movements and stuff, and it just sucked.
No, I see what you're saying now. You're talking about actually matching the way the animated face moves its mouth to match the
audio lines being spoken. Yeah.
So if I say the word for, the mouth forms to look like it's actually so a lip reader might be able to actually look at it and be like, hey, I can, without audio, I can see what they're saying.
Well, that's the next level, but even to just get the lips to flap in the correct timing, Like even if it's just a generic like Half-Life 2 looking, like oh my gosh, the mouth
Gordon,
move.
you are here. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Like a ventriloquist dummy, just the bottom half of the mouth moves up and down.
I always loved the faces in Star Fox 64, where it was like where you have Pippi the frog, his mouth is moving a mile a second, and he's just yelling no, but he's doing this as he's yelling no. It's like, oh my god, and like.
Well, one of the interesting side effects of stuff like this, though, is what do you do if you have an AMD graphics card, or with Intel coming out with their own high-end GPU, right? We're going to have this split in the market where you bought that game only works with Intel's special Wazoo Whoozy What's It. Oh, you bought this game and you have to have an NVIDIA card. I need more PCI slots because I'm gonna have to have 3 different graphics cards to optimally play all the games. Like,
well, I feel like it's more of it would be a better developer tool than anything, right? Like, let me bake the animations in. You don't have to do them like in real time or whatever. Now, where I could see that it would be cool in real time would be like in the Facebook metaverse when you're talking, right? Then it could like lip sync your guy to whatever.
Well, you could also do it for translations, right? If you have a game that's got Japanese and English audio.
Right, but that also doesn't need to be real time. So the real time scenario is real human in chat talking to me.
So I've tried this, by the way. I've tried this out. I'm speaking from experience here when I say Star Citizen actually has this facial mapping tech where if you have a camera, when you're talking, it'll actually like pick up your mouth movement and try and sync it up with your. And I was a little surprised at how pretty well that kind of worked. So like if I was just to like open up my mouth just to be like, like it would, without making sound, if I just opened up my mouth, my character's mouth would open. Like I didn't even have to say anything. It was still tracking what my face was doing and mimicking that on the character. And I was a little impressed by just the simplest of things. So anyway, what else we got?
I thought it was interesting. Just some speculation looking at the Intel GPUs that are going to be coming out next year. They look like they're real GPUs. Like they're not screwing around. This isn't your grandpa's desktop integrated graphics anymore. They're actually building some high-end cards, so it looks like we're gonna have some serious competition in the marketplace. I know AMD is rumored to also be preparing their next generation high-end card. So we may have a 3-way race finally. Get prices down because holy smokes, GPUs are expensive.
Well, I have 2 questions here. I wonder what this is going to do to the GPU market, A. And B, I wonder what this is going to do to AMD. Because AMD, while they've been doing better, I guess, from what I've been seeing, they at least seem to be doing better. They're still, like, NVIDIA is still considered the king here, right? Am I mistaken in that? Or, like...
Nope, so, NVIDIA still owns the high end of the GPU. Good.
So with a third one coming in, if they do well, I wonder what that's going to do for AMD if Intel somehow manages to surpass them. I'm not necessarily wishing for that or rooting for anything. I'm just kind of curious what a third player in the game is. It's kind of like when Microsoft entered the realm of the console market. And now you look at, between like the old school Nintendo and the semi-old school PlayStation at the time, it's just kind of interesting to see how Microsoft has far they've come entering into the realm after an established market. So,
yeah, I mean, right now, like I just built a computer 5 months ago, and I put a high-end AMD CPU in it. And I put an NVIDIA GPU in it because those are the best, right? That's the fastest. Now, Intel just came out with their 11th generation desktop processor, which on some benchmarks is faster than the AMD, but not on all of them. And it has a bunch of compatibility problems because it's doing asymmetric computing where it's got slow cores that are low power and fast cores that are high powered. But when it beats the AMD chip, it does it consuming 100 watts more power. That's insanely hot.
Yes,
it's a 220 watt chip. So, there's still this competition going on. What is interesting to me is if you look at the marketplace right now, you've got AMD makes CPUs and GPUs. Intel makes CPUs and now GPUs. And then you've got NVIDIA, who owns ARM, but nobody uses ARM for gaming on the desktop, and they make GPUs. So where does that leave NVIDIA? Yes, they have a huge market share right now, but when I can buy a motherboard, CPU, GPU bundle that is, super high end and gets me everything I need, that, they're going to be able to kill NVIDIA on pricing, I think. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think it's a really interesting development in kind of the hardware space.
Yeah, no doubt.
Speaking of not so interesting developments, we got to see maybe the dark side of DRM recently. Last weekend, Denuvo, who makes a lot of the root or the copy protection for games, let a certificate expire.
I'm sorry, did you almost say rootkits?
Yes, I almost did.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's how I feel about it. But anyway, they accidentally let their they're saying their domain went down for whatever reason. Doesn't really matter. But they were unavailable for the games to check in with their servers, which meant you couldn't play a bunch of games. So this is where, again, the piracy doesn't seem unreasonable, to crack a game you own just so you don't have to have the dependency on this server, which, clearly they're not doing a good job of keeping that running.
Yeah, I thought it was the idea with Denuvo was you got everything but the executable to launch the game, and then you had to check in with the server and it would know what CPU you had, and it would give you a version of the executable that only works specifically on the CPU model you have. So then you couldn't just mass distribute the thing because it would only work. If I have a 7700 i7, right, then only people with that exact model of CPU would be able to run. So I couldn't just throw it up on a board, right? You'd need a release for every CPU. I guess it's worse than that. So I mean, I figured well, once you acquired the thing, you're good. But apparently it has to run full time in the background and constantly be, it's almost like a virtual machine that the game then runs in, or some crazy business.
Well, or it goes and gets that executable every time you launch the game, maybe. I'm not sure, but it certainly seems like I think their servers being down broke it.
Yeah, I feel like Denuvo has evolved beyond the time when I actually understood it into something worse.
Yeah, I haven't looked into what it actually does, but it certainly has caused problems, and we've had documented examples of games running worse because Denuvo was involved. Most recently, Resident Evil Village, the pirates had the best version because they cracked the Denuvo and took it out, and it ran better, which is sad. Now, Capcom went back and fixed it, but still.
Yeah. But you bring up their Denuvo going down and hot on the heels of Guardians of the Galaxy coming out, right? And a lot of people were I'm gonna play it this weekend. Oh no, You're not, because it's out. But if you had it on console, then unaffected, right? So there's a point in favor of console ownership. And what I looked at was well, I'd like to play it on PC, but I'd also like to play it on console. And if it was in the Microsoft Store and it had Play Anywhere, then I buy it once and then I just sit where I want. Unfortunately not, and I think that is because of the Denuvo, because the Microsoft Store doesn't support Denuvo. It's its own DRM. So
yeah.
Because they made the decision to go with Denuvo, it locked them out of the Microsoft PC presence. And then I didn't buy the game because I can't just play anywhere. So I'll wait for a sale. Thanks.
Well,
yeah,
if you want some interesting news about this, though, not just this, but about anti-cheats and DRM and stuff like that. This next story is pretty nuts. I was a little surprised to see this one. Call of Duty is getting a kernel level anti-cheat.
Yeah, this is notorious, maybe infamous would be the word, because the League of Legends developer Riot put this in for their Valorant hero shooter game, where they have a kernel level anti-cheat system that basically hooks everything in your system. And, you know, it's very invasive way to make sure that you're not running any cheat software. The other silly thing about it is it doesn't stop you from running your network traffic through a second computer that modifies your packets in transit, which is how a lot of these cheats typically work. So it helps with some of the problems, but obviously not everyone's going to want to have two computers just to cheat in a game. But the cheating in Call of Duty has gotten so bad that players seem to be just perfectly happy to accept this, right?
Yeah, I think it's like one of those things where it cheater's going to cheat, right? And it's really an unfortunate thing, because at what point are you cheating because you feel like you're inadequate and you need cheats to get ahead? So my boss has a couple of 12-year-old boys, and we did like a guys like bro night out. We went and got some Mexican stuff, and because the kids have an esports team at their school, and so they wanted to like ask me questions, and they know, my boss knows like I do this podcast and this and that. And we got talking about GTA 5, and they're like, yeah, we love like console mod, like being able to like throw in some hacks here and there, but we don't want to do anything malicious. We just want to like spawn in our own cars. We don't want to like mess with other people's games. I was like, but you see, the problem is because that kind of attitude is so rampant, even though you're trying to maybe play the game your way without trying to affect others, it unfortunately, it inadvertently messes with everybody. And if a game has some stuff designed, like, it's different between like that and Blizzard being like, well, we have some cheat codes, like, power overwhelming that you can put into StarCraft to give you like, God mode or whatever. Black Sheep Wall, I think, was another one to remove the fog of war, stuff like that. But like, that's something where that's built into the game to let you cheat for fun, as opposed to like you're breaking the game because you don't feel like you're having enough fun in it. Like, is it too hard for you? And that's the thing that I keep running into, not just these kids, but I like, you see people online, and granted, 12, I feel like might be a little too young to be playing GTA, but maybe I'm getting old. But at the same time, if a game's too hard for you, maybe hacking the game isn't the solution. I don't know. Maybe it's weird. So
yeah, I find it very strange that it's such a problem, especially because on console it's so much less prevalent. But the PC being an open platform, I guess anybody can do anything they want.
Well, and let me be clear on this. Like, hacking stuff for yourself for fun is one thing. Hacking like games where other people are playing it too is disruptive and like can ruin other people from having fun. And it happens all the time. Like, Jim and I would try to do heists and stuff like that in GTA, and then you've got these guys who are dropping like whales and like tanker vehicles and like all kinds of stuff on top of you, and you're just like, that's funny once, but like when that stops me from playing the game like for the rest of the day. Because sometimes those things can follow you if you don't reboot the game. I remember someone turned Jim and I into like snowmen, and like we loaded into a new session and we were still snowmen. I was like,
dude, the funniest thing was when we were driving along in our car, and then suddenly we got teleported to the top of the tallest skyscraper in the town. And then a bunch of ice cream trucks spawned, and a bunch of machine gun clowns started pouring out of the ice cream trucks. And it was just like, what the hell is going on? That was funny shit. And thankfully he let it go, right? It's just like, it was a one-time thing. But yeah, when you get people that like grab every player on the server and teleport them into the ocean or some stupid shit like that, and they're just obnoxious, then but the other thing that's terrible about that in GTA is how many people just log in and they're like, hey, who's modding? Right? Like, first thing, as soon as somebody comes in the server, it's like, who's cheating? Who can give me money?
Yeah.
And I think that says something about the economy in GTA Online as well. It's like, I would rather risk a ban than try to actually grind for this.
Yeah. Good point. Well, it'll be interesting to watch the scene. I mean, if these kernel level anti-cheats become more prevalent, how many of them am I going to end up running on my system? because they're running all the time, whether you're playing the game or not, because they have
Yeah.
to run at boot time. So I'm going to end up with, 5 or 6 of them going? That worked great for antivirus.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's move on to business and legal, because there's a story here that I really want to talk about because it's just more dumping on Blizzard. But Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 are delayed, and both games will benefit from more development time. Great, sure, that's fine. Here's the funny thing about this that kind of just cracks me up a little bit. Now maybe I missed something, but I have not been able to follow Overwatch 2 news at all. Like, I feel like we hear very little about Overwatch 2. Nothing seems to be interesting about it because we really haven't seen anything more about it other than what they originally posted from what I remember. But the goofy thing is I feel like they announced Diablo 4 and then all of a sudden all the hype was on Diablo 4 and everyone stopped caring about Overwatch 2. Am I wrong in that? Did I miss something here?
I think the problem is that Overwatch 2 is basically just the single player part of Overwatch that they didn't include. Because they're saying it's going to be compatible with Overwatch. All your skins, all your stuff will carry over to Overwatch 2. So I don't think it has the same identity that Diablo 4 does as being kind of a standalone, game. That's all I can tell you, though. That's my theory.
Sure. Well, and they're talking, in this article that we have here, teams on both games have made great strides towards completion, but more development time will enable better long-term post-launch support. There's still no launch dates for either games, but they should be expected next year and not in 2023. So apparently we're going to get both of them next year. But again, I've Overwatch 2 just had such a lack of anything noteworthy that I remember, that everything became about all of their other screw ups and then like Diablo 4.
Yeah.
It's like they announced and launched remaster of Diablo 2 in the mix of all this stuff too. Now granted there wasn't as much development time there because they're already taking what exists and kind of up, but that's not a small task, and so they redid all the cutscenes and all the cinematics were improved, and so I mean there's a lot of work on other stuff that got done, and they're working on their Diablo mobile game. So I just find it interesting that all these things seem to have more attention than games that were already announced that haven't come out yet before all of these things, if that makes any sense. So I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for you. It's definitely interesting.
Cool. What else we got here?
Roblox was offline for 3 days. They had a pretty major outage. I hate the game, so I just wanted to include that to laugh at them. It did come back, unfortunately, but Microsoft said that they are definitely not done acquiring game studios, which is really interesting. I'm not sure who's left. Like, unless they do another major acquisition like ZeniMax, Bethesda, who would they buy?
I can think of some mercy killings that they could do.
Well, I was about to say they could buy up Blizzard from Activision and just
just shut it down.
Well, then they just take the IP and move it somewhere else, I guess.
Yeah, Chinese phone games. You guys got phones, right?
Yes, we do. I don't know. I just found that interesting. I've liked what Microsoft's been doing, so it doesn't really bother me or anything. But it just be interesting to see.
I just feel like they've got everybody that's interesting that I care about.
Sega, maybe they have strategy games that could be brought over to console. We don't have Total War Warhammer or.
Well, and there was also that Sega announcement of partnership too with Microsoft recently, where they were going to be working collaboratively on some things.
So well, I guess if I was Microsoft and I wanted to do maximum damage to the competition, I would look at like who produces the best exclusive Sony things that isn't Sony themselves.
Remedy.
So that would be my target. Would be like I'm going to acquire them just to get them off of that platform.
Well, that might be smart if they could do it. We'll see what happens. They have a big announcement on the 15th of November. That's the 20th anniversary of Xbox, or of Halo, Xbox, Halo. I'm spacing on which one now, but there's a lot of speculation that that's going to be the release date for Halo multiplayer, that they're going to do a surprise drop on Monday for the anniversary.
That was the rumor, yeah. Well, let's take that top one next, Malphite.
Sure. So Squid Game is a Netflix acquired series, originally a Korean show, about a rich cabal that secretly recruits poor people to a series of deadly children's games.
Is that also Sony? Because I've noticed that the guards actually have the triangle, circle, square.
They do, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some commentary there from the Koreans. I don't know. But there was a Squid Game cryptocurrency making the rounds early on when the show came out, and apparently it was a scam, and the folks behind it vanished with 3.3 million of other people's money. So just a little warning. I have never seen anything advertised about cryptocurrency that wasn't a scam. So maybe just keep that in mind before you, whether it's on Discord or on the web or whatever.
Especially on Discord, yeah.
Yeah, it's always
for sure. Well, tell me about what's going on with Playdate.
So the Playdate is this little goofy black and white original Game Boy style console whose big innovative feature arguably is the crank on the sides. You can use it as a fishing controller. The Doom port uses it to run the chain gun. You have to turn the crank to fire. And they also have a novel way of producing content for the console. You're basically going to buy an annual pass and you will get one game every other week for a year. And that first annual pass is included with the system, but when you open the system and activate it is when the clock starts. So it's not like if you buy it a year from now, you'll get all of the games that have already been released. They just give you a new one every couple weeks. And the idea is to get you engaged with the games and, have some fun with them. So unfortunately, they've pushed it back to 2022 because of hardware difficulties. There's a global chip shortage, global supply chains are struggling to recover from COVID. And unfortunately, that Playdate news also came on the heels of Steam announcing a similar problem with the Steam Deck, where basically everything's getting pushed back about 3 months into 2022.
Now, the good news here, though, is they're projecting that they're going to start release in February, but wherever you were in your queue, you're going to stay in the same spot. You're just going to get moved back in the timeline. So they're letting people know that you're not going to lose your spot in line. So that is, I mean, it's sad to see it get pushed back, but it's good to know that you're still reserved in your spot. So it just means that I'll have to get mine this next summer, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm looking forward to this next one. So, Jim, I have a question for you. Okay. What do you think Billy Mitchell's up to these days?
Hot sauce.
It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder if his hot sauce business is doing well, because man, he's at it again. The former king of Kong, Billy Mitchell, has finally taken Twin Galaxies to court.
Yeah.
Some people just need to let it go, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So here's the short version, as much as I can make it for those that are listening. So here's the deal with Billy Mitchell. Back in the day, he used to be a big arcade guy, making high scores, sending them into Twin Galaxies, who was, like, at the time the official, like, record keeper of scores for high scores in arcade games. Tons of people were doing it. Within the last 15 years, there was a couple of documentaries that came out. One of them was called The King of Kong, and I think the other one was like Chasing Ghosts, I think was the other one that was called, about the arcade scene in Twin Galaxies. Mitchell made a name for himself because he's apparently got the highest scores on some games, but there was a controversy around whether or not they were legitimate scores that he submitted, that maybe he used emulation rather than real hardware. Twin Galaxies stripped him of all of his stuff, which then the Guinness Book of World Records stripped him of all of his stuff. But, however, based on evidence, apparently the Guinness Book of World Records has reinstated his scores based on like resounding evidence that, you know, is in his favor. And Twin Galaxies is still refusing to do so, so he's going to take them to court. Twin Galaxies did try to do an anti-slap thing where they were trying to get they call it an anti-strategic lawsuit against public participation, or SLAP for short. It's apparently a mechanism used to ensure that frivolous lawsuits don't go to court. However, the state of California's second appellate knocked that down, so Mitchell's taking them to court. I'm with you though, Jim. Just fucking let it go. Like, what reputation are you staking on this? Like, I don't understand. Like, you're already, like, people know you as being an asshole. So, like, I don't know what more you're going to accomplish from this. Like, where, like, even before this controversy, he was known as being an asshole. So it's like, okay, go back to making hot sauce, Billy.
Yeah,
enjoy your mullet.
I know in his mind a great injustice has occurred, and he is just trying to, correct the record. Like, everyone's a hero in their own story. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I believe that he has good intentions, but I just don't have a whole lot of sympathy for a guy who can be such a jerk, frankly. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this one.
Interesting.
Well, shall we talk about our next story? It's a doozy.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
If you've played the introduction to Forza Horizon 5, one of the things they like to do is drop you out of the back of a plane in a car with a little parachute on it, and then when you hit the ground, the casing pops off, the parachute flies away, and you're driving, you're ready to go. So they recreated that stunt with a helicopter in real life and dropped a car to promote the game in Australia. So
yeah. And it almost didn't go well. Did you watch the video?
Yes.
The car is on this wooden platform, and the chute starts to deploy, but the car flips over and it's like falling just straight down on its head, and then the parachute finally takes and it flips it over. But for a hot second there, it looks like this could be really bad.
Yeah, they also included in Australia, New Zealand, Age of Empire 4 demo discs in a popular breakfast cereal there. So, clearly the Xbox team in Australia, New Zealand is pretty creative and coming up with some interesting ways to spend their marketing budget. But I'm
gonna post the picture of this in our memes. Jim, look in our memes chat at this cereal, this breakfast cereal.
Wolololos?
Yes. It's a joke because of the damn priests in Age of Empires make that sound. Like I find that hysterical. I'm sorry, but that's really funny.
Do they still do it? Did they keep that?
Yes, yeah, it's in there, yeah.
So, Hunter, yeah. I know that you are a man of culture. You're a man of refined taste.
Debatable.
It's true. It is debatable. I'll agree with that.
Well, next time you are in Fallout 76, you might be able to catch a digital acting troupe actually recreating the Globe Theater in the game and putting on a performance of Shakespeare's Macbeth for 45 minutes.
So theater in the park in in Fallout 76?
That's Fallout. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, the problem is that you can only get like what 15 players on a server, so yeah, their audience is pretty limited. Now I could see it in Fortnite though, right? Like, no, I can't.
Wow, watching the video of this is pretty legit. Wow.
Yeah. It's an impressive performance, right? They did a good job,
and they streamed it on Twitch apparently too. That is pretty spectacular. For those of you listening, go look this up because this is actually kind of cool. You know what? This is the video. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I actually love to see. I love seeing this kind of stuff because it's like to me is like. This is where I love the modding community, like the legitimate, like people who make, conversion mods or, people who do this kind of stuff, who put these kinds of things together and like form something fun out of the game rather than being a troll. This is the kind of stuff that I love. There, thanks for posting it, Mel. So yeah, it'll be in our news section, in our Discord. So come on by and check that out. Discord at OtherWorldsGG.
So when are they going to have Ariana Grande in Fallout 76 doing a concert?
Don't tempt them. They might just do it. But yeah, pretty slick there. Call of Duty Vanguard player tramples opposing team with a micro tank. Yes.
Yeah, one of the items that you can get in the game is this little micro tank that you can drive around, and the idea is you can go and shoot people, blow them up with it, so you can, hide behind cover and go take out your enemies. But apparently this thing's a little overpowered. It is not a kill streak reward. It is in fact a field upgrade, which means it's on a timer and it recharges throughout the match, so you can use it multiple times. But the thing took somebody shooting a full clip into it, and it was still at half health. So it's extremely durable. And it will take down your enemies if you can get it in close to them, and they apparently can't do anything about it. So I expect this will get nerfed pretty quick, but it's a pretty funny little moment from the game. Game balance is hard, people. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, I don't know why Vanguard even exists, honestly. Like, I watch some people streaming it, and it's just like, yeah. It's like a weird, like, Call of Duty modern whatever, but then we set it in World War II alternate universe where apparently they had holographic sights on their M1 Garens. Like, even joking. I saw a guy with a holo sight on his M1. I was like,
No, that's not historically accurate. That's funny. Well, hey, Jim, if I told you that you could upgrade to Windows 11 and get 103% charge on your laptop battery, would that sell you? Would that get you to upgrade, buddy?
No, I would then be really concerned about the life of my laptop battery.
Yeah, apparently there's a bug in Windows 11 that triggered it to think that the battery was at 103% charge. So, or 104%, excuse me. I don't want to undersell it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just a funny little glitch.
And then like your Dell laptop catches on fire because well, that was their own battery problem, but still the meme is still alive. The burning Dell.
Hunter, do you know anything about chess?
Like, king to bishop 6, stuff like that?
Well, yeah, or the world of competitive chess.
You know what I want? I would pay real money to watch Gary Kasparov play auto chess.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
It came up, he's got a new chess website that'll help you learn how to play chess and up your game, learn from the master, so to speak. And in an interview while he was promoting it, it came out that apparently he's Diamond 5 in Hearthstone and figures that he could get to Legend rank if he pushed. Which, not the person I expected to be a Hearthstone junkie.
Who would have thunk?
Yeah.
It's actually really cool.
Even more reason for the auto chess to happen.
Yeah. Well, clearly he's playing video.
What kind of PR move would that be for auto chess? Like they just pay this guy to just do like one good public match of auto chess. Or honestly, if he's on Twitter, I need to just ask him, like, bro, have you ever played auto chess?
Do it.
Because now that we know his dark secret.
That's right. Well, maybe he's too busy playing Hearthstone. He doesn't have time to
or he's like
to play auto chess.
He just says fuck it to chess and goes with Clash of Clans as a professional esports.
Oh no. Oh god, that's terrible.
Kasparov's pretty impressive though, right? Like I watch video of him, like there'll be a room full of people with chessboards and he'll just like walk down the road playing chess against everybody and wins.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's a master of the game, no question. I think literally a grandmaster to be fair. So Hunter, I know we talked earlier in the show about GPUs and how hard it's been to get modern GPUs. Well, turns out that there's, part of the reason for that is they're so valuable that people are knocking over trucks and stealing them to get the video cards.
Is this a GTA mission or like?
No. This is This literally happened in Southern California recently, where a semi tractor trailer full of NVIDIA RTX 30 series cards was stolen as they were being driven from San Francisco down to Southern California. The truck got hijacked. So
wow, video cards are the new carton of cigarettes.
Well, what's interesting? Yeah. You know what's interesting about this is the article reads it in a funny way, because it says here that in a post on the EVGA forums, a product manager confirmed that a shipment of the EVGA GeForce RTX 3000 or 30 series had been nicked out of a truck on their way to San Francisco to Southern California, and stated that the retail value of the cards on board ranged from like $330 to $2,000 basically. But are you saying that maybe he wrote that little phrase wrong, that they stole the whole truck?
I'm not entirely clear on that detail. But I guess maybe if someone offers you a video card that fell off of the back of a truck, you'll know what that means in this context.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow, that's ridiculous. So if you go to the actual forum here, it says a shipment of the cards was stolen from a truck en route. So it looks like they were taken off the truck and not the whole truck was stolen. If the whole truck was stolen, that's intense. But like, it looks like they were able just to steal like maybe a couple of boxes off the back. So these fell off the back of the truck.
They could have caught it at a truck stop, parked for the night, and just busted the lock. And it's like, you don't know what's on there, but let's bust it open and see. Oh, hey, jackpot.
Yeah, maybe so.
Because I'm sure that the truck didn't say like NVIDIA on the side.
No,
you wouldn't want to advertise that, would you? You wouldn't download a shipment of graphics cards, would you?
I might.
So, Anton Castillo, the dictator from Far Cry 6's faux Cuba, is actually emailing players of the game and telling them how disappointed he is in their performance.
Wow, that's like when Samuel Jackson called me to tell me to go watch Snakes on a Plane.
So he's mocking players, saying things like, surely you can do better than this in the emails. It's obviously just a marketing thing by Ubisoft to get people to play the game more, but the subject line was, you disappoint me, and the email says, I wanted to thank you for giving me free reign in Yara. Take it easy and know that Yara is in capable hands. So a little bit of fun there that Ubisoft's having.
Yeah, so I heard, I haven't played the game, right? But what I've heard is like in the other Far Cry games, you interacted with the villain a lot, but apparently in this one, you never really meet him.
Yeah, he shows up a couple times, where you run into him or his kid. I've played through maybe 20 hours of the game so far. And I've bumped into him, you know, I've interacted with him a couple times, but that's about it. So it's a little different for sure.
Does he have his cool TIE fighter with the wings that fold down?
He does not, strangely. Yeah. He's a little more old school in Far Cry 6. Beautiful restored old 50s cars in the game, though. It's really one of my favorite parts.
So Jim, if you were a Warhammer 40,000 fan, and
I am a Warhammer enjoyer, yes,
and you wanted to somehow enjoy your holiday season as a fan of Warhammer, what do you think would be something that you would get to help you enjoy the holidays as being a Warhammer fan?
I would probably want some direct interaction with Games Workshop, so I would make a fan video that they would then contact me about suing me for. And no, what?
Well, how about some grimdark scented candles? Would that do it for you? Like,
oh my god, yeah, I saw that shit. What? Did you see the Blockbuster scented candle?
That's fake, but yes, I did see that. Yes. No, this is real. Warhammer 40,000 celebrates the festive season with grimdark scented candles. There's no time for peace in the 41st millennium, but apparently there's time for potpourri.
In the dark future, there is only Festivus.
Oh no,
Festivus Maximus.
Oh. So yeah, what are our scents here? Do we have a list of these scents?
They do, yeah.
There's probably like Nurglebutt and
Slanesh, the scent of delusion. Astra Militarum, the scent of Deathworld. You've got Tau Ethereal, the scent of expansion. The Tyranids, the scent of the Great Devourer. And Dark Angels, Tallow, the scent of faith. So they've got, they kind of hit all the bases there.
Oh,
so
well,
Tyranids... They should have a Gwyneth Paltrow, like, sororitas vagina.
Oh, God.
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
No, I remember that Gwyneth
Smells
Paltrow
like
thing.
heresy.
That was like, oh, God, terrible. What a terrible product. Anyway, so yeah, that's as a 40,000 fan, there you go. Yeah, enjoy your Festivus and
Festivus Maximus.
So one of my friends loves to say that, when he's getting ready to go hang out and surf the net, that he knows that someone somewhere on the internet is wrong and he needs to go tell them so.
Oh, is he a Facebook fact checker?
No, but we've had arguments where someone's gone so far as to leak classified documents to win an argument online.
Wait, are you talking about Jim? Are you talking about Jim right in front of him? I'm confused.
No, he's talking about War Thunder, where the guy leaked out fucking top secret tank specs.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah, we talked about that a couple months ago. But now we have a New World player who killed over 1,000 boars to prove that the luck stat in the game is working correctly. So clearly he was upset with people claiming that luck was wrong, and he went through and made sure, that he was getting the right distribution of loot. So
do not underestimate the power of autism online.
Yeah, something, right? So clearly dedicated some time to winning this argument. Kudos to you, sir.
Oh man.
And I'm pretty confident that person's a sir, not a ma'am. Just a wild guess.
So do any of you guys have like a spare $25,000 laying around anywhere?
What, you need a 3090 card or what?
I got one off the back of a truck I can sell you.
Yeah, there you go.
It's weird when the truck is cheaper than the card that's in it.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Do you fancy some Baccarat? It's
the French, not the card game, but the French crystal manufacturer Baccarat.
I thought this was going to be like a lead into a James Bond thing.
So there is a Pokemon Pikachu fragment that could be yours for $25,000, carved out of this crystal structure.
I wouldn't pay that for a real electric rat.
Well, here's the thing, though. If we combine that with our story from earlier about the data storage crystals, then maybe I can actually write I could save my Pikachu game my Pokemon game progress.
All your Pokemon progress on that. Yeah.
Wow, I keep my games in my amiibo. That is fabulous.
He is 12 inches tall, so like it's not. I mean, it's not nothing. You're getting something for the money. Well, if you need a stocking stuffer for me, Jim, for Christmas, because I know I'm hard to shop for, they do have a smaller 5.7-inch Pikachu figure for only $440, and there's a Pokeball crystal, which is 3 inches, and that's only $410. So, I'm willing to compromise here on the gift that you're going to get me. So don't feel obligated to go for the full $25,000.
Oh man. Wow. So there's a good bit of news there, isn't there? It took 2 episodes to kind of cover, but we definitely got some time though. Like,
we're caught up, I think.
Yeah, we're definitely in a caught up phase, and it's going to be another couple weeks before there'll be even more crazy news. I'm really thankful though. I'm really excited about where we're at right now and then the gaming's kind of environment. I've just been so busy with IRL stuff that taking time to actually play a game is like rough, but I really like the fact that I was able just to install and play right away Age of Empires 4, and that's the first time in a while that I've actually really just enjoyed diving into a game. It was challenging. It has a lot of history stuff in there, a lot of really neat, accurate history information's in there. And then Forza Horizon 5 is a lot of fun. They still had some like network issues with it, but the general gameplay was still accessible, and being able to unlock stuff was still accessible. So like that was fun, so I could still play the game despite some of their network connection stuff with other players. The base game was still very playable and enjoyable. So I mean, I really like Forza Horizon 5. And it seems like we're going to be getting a slew of really good, or at least what is hoped to be really good games here in the near future. There's a lot of announced stuff that's coming out really soon. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on Jurassic World Evolution 2, I think, right? Is that what that's called?
Yeah. That one is coming, or is out now. I have it. I haven't played it. And that is the story of about that and I think 6 other games that I really want to play right now and just haven't had time. I did finish Guardians of the Galaxy, though, and really, really enjoyed it. Like, if you are a Marvel fan, and I feel like Marvel's a little overdone, maybe a lot overdone lately, this is a fantastic return to some characters I really enjoyed. It's not the movie version of these characters. It's definitely got some interesting differences from even the Marvel movies. Other Marvel, for example, in Guardians of the Galaxy, Drax is the one who supposedly kills Thanos, which is a very different version of events, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's there's just so many great games right now, and then there's all the great multiplayer stuff that you guys have been enjoying. Star Citizen, I'm looking forward to getting a copy of that here in a few weeks when it goes on sale. I don't know, man. There's so much going on right now. It's great.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm really excited too, after working with you in our Discord here, getting my play night set up in a way that is very enjoyable, with some add-ons and stuff like that give the UI fresher looks, better sounds. And the way that Play Night's working is they've also got their their plugin stuff built kind of right in to the app now, so you don't have to go all the way through their forums and all this other stuff. You can actually get all their stuff directly, which is really nice. I really like it. And then yeah, so there you go.
I have been enjoying a plugin for Play Night called Start Page, which is in pretty rapid development right now, and you have to kind of go in and one of the problems I know you had was finding where they move the add-ons, because it's a little counterintuitive now. But if you can go in there and configure it, it actually acts as a home page when you first launch Play Night, and you can customize it with all of your favorite games. It'll show you your recently played games, your most played games. It's really been neat to see just how how much information you can kind of get on there, and it's a nice way to kind of jump in and just see, oh hey, this is cool stuff that I want to check out. It shows you recent achievements, things like that. So definitely worth a look if you're using Play Night.
Yeah, and the deduplicator thing is pretty slick too, because if you have multiples of a game, let's say you've got a copy on GOG and Steam, it kind of combines them together into one. I would like to see that deduplicator thing work for xCloud. Because, I've got, like the Origin version of Battlefield 5, but I also can play it through xCloud because I have access to that on xCloud. So stuff like that would be nice.
It goes off of name of the game entry, and one of the things that I've noticed is EA has a tendency to slap extra shit on the end of the name, like Deluxe Edition or Ultimate Edition, and that it thinks those are two separate games. If you just rename the Origin one to Battlefield 2042 instead of Battlefield 2042 Ultimate, it'll actually combine them automatically.
Even if it's an xCloud thing?
I believe so. I'm fairly sure.
Yeah, because none of my xCloud stuff seems to be merging in with other stuff, which is a little shocking to me.
It may be because xCloud support is a plugin. You may have to go into Duplicate Finder and tell it it's okay to do xCloud games. It may not be enabled by default since it's an add-on.
Gotcha. Are there any games out there that have been interesting you, Jim, lately?
It's all Forza Horizon all the time. Like playing it right now. I've run into a race that is such a bitch, and it's got a reward that I actually want. It's like the way to get the DeLorean.
Oh, and it's not a dance? I'm shocked.
Yeah. Oh no, man! I got my pink hot pants and my penny loafers, and all my super wheel spins were blown on retarded stuff. Yeah. That's a little irritating. But anyway, yeah, so the DeLorean, I have to win this like race thing, and it's got the Drivatar difficulty like forced it like extremely stupid, and like the only thing that I can do is tweak the car to try to have like the optimal 800 point A spec car for this race, and it specifically has to be this Porsche. It's a Cayman GTS, and it's like there's only so much I can do. And like so I put all my stuff into launch speed, right? Because if I get out in front at the beginning of the race, I can hold it. But the way that it's been, like even at an 800 spec auto tune on the car, whenever the race starts, like the entire pack just bolts away from me, and it's like, but how? So I just went into the thing, like for the last 10 minutes I've been tweaking this car, and I got it up to like a 10 acceleration and a 10 launch, and it's just like, well, let's just see if I can be a straight line bullet, because if I can win in the initial launch of the race, maybe I can just like defend my lead by like physical like hockey checking. Like shoulder check them off the road whenever they try to pass me or something. I don't know. But I'm finding it to be kind of interesting. It's like I finally found a race that is giving me shit. And it's just like, okay, that's cool. My one beef about the way that they did stuff in Forza 7 was you would always start at the back of the pack. And it'd be like, hey, it's a 3-lap race and you have to go from 12th to 1st. So the only way to do that is very unsportsmanlike conduct, as opposed to like how an actual race works, where you're trying to not like slam the other drivers into the wall.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, it encourages a bad play style, and then you go online and people are like, oh yeah, like that first turn is just like a massacre in every race online because everybody tries to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's when I prefer games that actually give out penalties and stuff like iRacing does.
So I see now too on this Play Night thing where I've actually fixed it because I did not include Game or xCloud in the sources. So so now that I've included that, it's deduped all those into one thing. So now I've got this is really slick now. This is super nice, but yeah, I love it. So
it is free, which is obviously wonderful, and it manages to do the best job I've seen of combining all the different libraries. I don't know. I am just really, really pleased with it. I think there's always a few things you'd like to fix. But the theme, the way it displays your games, being able to browse different things, all of that, I have no complaints about. And then you add in the emulated game support, and it's kind of amazing. I mean, there's so much that you can do with the emulators where it auto scans and imports the games that you have, and so it knows, oh hey, yeah, you've got these emulated Game Boy Advance games on your hard drive, and I'll add them to your library, and you can do all the quick filtering now, which is something that was just added in Play Night 9, where you can set up multiple filters and save them, and then you can quickly jump between different filters. So I have like a filter for each emulated system, so I can just look at my Super Nintendo games, or I can just look at my my original Xbox games. So I just can't say enough good things about Play Night. Really, really happy with it.
Yes, indeed, and we're fans of it around here. Well, this has been our second part of our news episodes, and we're looking forward to getting back into doing more podcasts for you guys now that we've kind of let some things settle down. But you guys can catch more of us over on discord.otherworlds.gg. That's where we have all this and more, plus community nights. We're always down to have fun or play something. Most of the time we are, at least. There's plenty of community members here to find games to play with. We do have a couple of game servers. We got a Minecraft server. We do have a Unreal Tournament 2004 server, and we're looking at some other possibilities out there as well. And then, yeah, what else we got, Malify? Am I missing something?
No, I think we're kind of talking about doing a Christmas giveaway. We don't have all the details nailed down, but I think we'll definitely do something for our community to celebrate the holidays and give somebody
giving away some of those candles.
That's right. Yes, we got a shipment of Warhammer scented candles. We're gonna give those away. That would be perfect.
Yes.
So yeah, the best way to find out all this stuff, engage with us, engage with all the other great people in the community, is to join our Discord. So definitely come hang out.
100%. All right. Well, this has been episode number 41.
Yeehaw.